Hello there guys, welcome back to Younes Talks Football, welcome back to a brand new video. I hope all of you are doing well today. I'm going to try and keep this relatively short for what it's worth because Chelsea yesterday have just ruined me. I woke up this morning sounding like Barry White. My throat is gone. Too much strain, so I need to make it relax a little bit. So keep it short today, but we'll get over what needs to be said because it's the day after. We've heard what Poch has said. We've heard all the reaction has been. We've seen what the aftermath of yesterday's embarrassing capitulation, if you want to call it that, in the Carabao Cup final, where Chelsea, correctly described by everybody today as bottling it against the Liverpool under-12s. To exaggerate in a little jokey way, of course, but we played against... they finished the game with half their team being academy boys that were playing PL2 just recently. That are not even first team squad members properly. So, some of them have school today. So, it's insane. But we're going to go through the reaction, the comments, what's happened, and I need to say my piece because we're going around and round in circles here. And I've had enough. I've had enough of going around in circles. We need action here now, man. Words are words and words are for talking and that's it. I've had enough of words. We need some sort of action now. So how are we going to move forward? What's the route? I'll get into it. Let's start off with the comments yesterday. I want to start off with Pochettino. Let's start off with Poch. He said something yesterday after the game. Some people are saying it's misconstrued. But I'm sorry, if it is or if it isn't, you don't say this. You just don't say it, and you don't do it. What was it? Here it is. The team felt maybe penalties would be good for us. Now, some people are saying that maybe it was an English thing, but he didn't mean as in the team felt that they decided penalties would be good. But just he recognised that the team didn't have the legs anymore and we should just hold on for penalties. Regardless, if he meant that the team felt for themselves that they wanted penalties, then that's a disgrace. You don't hold the authority. You're crazy. If he meant that, no, he saw that the players were getting leggy and that's it, he wanted to take it to penalties, that's unforgivable as well. Look at the context of the situation. Look at who we're playing against. And look at who we have. It's funny, people are going to say Liverpool's team yesterday had an older average age despite their young players. Well, yeah, because they had Van Dijk, who's how old? 31, 32? They're 32. And they had Endo, who's 31. They had players on that pitch to balance it out. But at the same time, they turned to youngsters from their academy, from Melwood, that didn't cost them a penny. We have a £1 billion assembled squad of kids. So regardless of the age, that's irrelevant. They didn't spend a penny on their on their kids. We spent $1 billion on them. We brought them into the club. On top of that, to add context, how are we getting tired? I've said this a few times this season. I've never understood this fatigue. I don't get it. Firstly, we've got a bunch of young lads. Should be raring to go and ready to go. We don't have European competition. We've been playing one game a week. Coming into this Carabao Cup final, we had 8 days to prepare for this game. 8. From our last game from the Saturday up until the Sunday. We had a full week, full 7 days to prepare. And on the 8th, we played. What about Liverpool? With all their injuries, with all the players that they missed out, what about Liverpool? They played on Wednesday at Luton and won 4-1 after going 1-0 down. They played players in that game that played yesterday. How come they're not getting leggy? How come they're not getting tired? How come we were getting into extra time and you could just tell that Liverpool were the ones with the advantage? How come they're still running and pressing and doing crazy things? How? Some people are going to say, oh no, but Klopp decided to turn to his academy boys, right? Well, we used our subs and that's basically it. What? It's ironic, isn't it? I'm going to pull this card. I've not pulled this card out before. But it's ironic that Jurgen Klopp, Liverpool, in a final, can turn to his academy boys. Not academy boys in the sense that they're in the first team squad and they play for the first team and they came from the academy. No. Some of them are still academy boys. They were called up because Liverpool didn't have an option. There's no option. They need men on the bench. We're going to have to call up from the academy. That's what they did. Then they played those academy boys and they got them over the line. We brought on Madueke and we brought on Mudryk and we brought on Chalobah. I'm leaving Chalobah out of this. He's leaving the club anyway, so I'm going to park Chalobah for a sec. But we're bringing on youngsters that we've bought into the club, some for astronomical fees. Who are the others on the bench that we didn't bother to turn to? Tell me. Hang on, I thought we were playing kids. I thought we wanted to go down the youth prospect. We wanted to go down the, this is project youth, isn't it? This is trying to get a very young team going. How come we're not turning to the 3 lads on our bench that came from our academy? No? Are they not good enough? For Liverpool, they are. So what are we doing? Do you understand how many layers are messed up at this club? It's bonkers. And then we have the audacity, the excuse to try and say we were tired. Get out. Get out of here. Yesterday, I lost complete connection with Pochettino. Done. That's it. No more. No more chances, no more, nothing. But it's not all him. I'm still seeing people just go, but yeah, change Pochettino, it's all going to be okay. Listen, it's part of the problem. I've said Pochettino, and why we're hearing things like this is because he is a byproduct of the situation. He is a byproduct of what is wrong at this club. The reason why he was hired is because of what is wrong at this club. Changing him and then getting to, who I'm going to come to later on in the video because it's pretty obvious where Chelsea are heading. You think it's going to change a thing? No. But we all know what needs to change with Pochettino in order for us to really start changing the culture at this club, because this is getting to a dark place. So we're going to keep reading. Pochettino said this. I remember after 3 or 4 years, Liverpool lost the Champions League, lost the Europa League, and they believe in the project, and in the next season we're stronger until they got what they wanted. That's a good example. Liverpool. If we want to challenge a team like Liverpool, it's not to be frustrated today because we didn't get the trophy. It's about to take the example, to keep believing. That is the most important thing. Listen, this is the most Spursy thing I think I've ever read. But I can't even say Spursy anymore because what we're doing, the records we're breaking, are things Tottenham haven't even broken. We've lost 6 finals in a row. We've lost 3 times in a row to Liverpool. Yeah, brilliant. Pochettino, some of the words that comes out of his mouth. Do you understand that you're not going to be here for this project? Why are you saying this? You're not going to be here. We all know this. We all know. European football, apparently, was a requirement, even though Pochettino wasn't actually given to be... He's got his own tactical issues and the way that he runs the team and all that. I've got problems with Pochettino, absolutely, like I've said. But there is the strategy that we've headed down with this football club has been a shambles from day one, right? You're not going to make European football with this strategy. You're not. I can't believe he somehow hasn't understood this. And he's coming out and talking about a project. Brother, you've been tasked with getting European football despite the bad hand that you've been dealt, but you've been tasked with getting European football. You're not going to get it. So you're going to get chopped. What project? And let's be honest, what project is there to believe in here? There is no project. What's the project? A Brighton-esque AI data-driven kiddie experiment. Is that the project? Yesterday proved it. Yesterday proved it because we absolutely bottled it. And then we tried to hold on to go to penalty shootouts against some of the Liverpool players that have just come out of college doing their A-levels. Or maybe they went today to college to go and do some A-level work. I don't know. But that's who we backed off against and decided to try and get the penalties against. Incredible. And then you look on the pitch and you look at the players and this part of this strategy and what we're doing, right? We have to question the players too. I'm not going to just, they're not going to come off scot-free, but I'm not going to judge them based on they should be better. I'm not going to do that. A lot of these players are not good enough. We've overpaid. We've been ripped off. We've thrown $1 billion out of the window. And there's only a handful that we could possibly keep in a serious team. This is an example. Check this. Chalobah and Kunku and Disasi all screaming at Mudryk for a reason. And then this person says, cost Chelsea a cup final. Absolute rubbish as far as I'm concerned. No, that didn't cost Chelsea a cup final. Why are we blaming Mudryk? I'm the severest critic of Mudryk. As far as I'm concerned, he doesn't belong in Premier League football. Right? But he's got nothing to do with that situation. Because before that, what were we saying during the watch-along? Who was marking Van Dijk? Yeah, Ben Chilwell. What? When Van Dijk scored that first goal, who was on him? Ben Chilwell. Why is Ben Chilwell on Van Dijk? Why is 5'11" marking Virgil van Flippin Dijk? Why do we have Enzo marking Konate? Why do we then have Mudryk trying to cover for Disasi marking Van Dijk? Disasi, Levi Colwill. You two should be on Van Dijk, Konate. The two big boys marked by our two big boys. That's it. Because anyone else, like it was proven with Nicholas Jackson, would get dominated. Nicholas Jackson, in the air, physically, against Van Dijk and Konate, was being absolutely dominated. If there was any more domination, we would have had to put an 18+ rating on it. So what business does Mudryk have trying to deal with Van Dijk? Who made that call? Who's making this call? Is this from the training ground? Is this how we're practicing our set pieces? Because if that's the case, we turn to the coaching staff. But at the same time, look, players, if they're deciding that in between themselves, haven't got a brain cell in between them. But at the same time, Pochettino is looking at this and thinking it's okay. Incredible. Incredible. It's basic. It's flipping. We've been so obsessed about height, right? We've been so obsessed about height this season. Height has been a big issue, even though for me, I think it's half pointless. Some of the times we've tried to talk about how height is an issue. Anyway, when height is an issue, Van Dijk and Konate, you're putting our smallest men on them. What? Incredible. Absolutely incredible. But the players, some, honestly, just are not going to make it at the top level. We're talking the top level. So what are we doing? Why are we wasting our time? But this is what we've spent money on. This is what we've put $1 billion on. This is what we forked all that money on. And we gave them death row contracts. Correctly so. Correctly so. We laughed when it was all happening and we thought we found loopholes. Well, it's come to bite us hard. And now we've realised, yep, we've made the biggest mistake here. Incredible. But Pochettino and the latest, this time from Matt Law. Matt Law, listen, it's evident that Matt Law has fallen out with the Chelsea hierarchy or something because, yeah, you can tell. Here it is. Mauricio Pochettino is now facing a make or break run to the end of the season to keep hold of his job as head coach. Like I've already said, that's a given. It's done. It's done. We got Leeds on Wednesday. Right? Leeds, who, by the way, are killing it in the Championship. They're no Middlesbrough, just to put it that way. Right? Leeds are unbeaten in 2024. They beat Leicester home and away, who are top of the league. Leeds are second. And they've only lost 6 times this entire season, sorry. Out of 35 games I think they've played, they've lost 6. Leeds are going to come on business to the Bridge. smelling blood. And the rivalry of Chelsea versus Liverpool, Chelsea versus Leeds, is something that this ownership and the people in charge wouldn't really understand because they're not bothered about the culture of the club. They're not bothered about the history or the identity. We're going to come to that later on because they've decided to make one stupid flipping move that we'll get to it. But there's more on Poch. An associate of a top coach who would almost certainly be linked with succeeding Mauricio Pochettino if sacked remarked, every manager will be in trouble with this team. Who? God knows. God knows who that is. No idea. But basically reaffirming, every manager will be in trouble with this team, according to an associate of a top coach who would definitely be linked. Also saying good luck to whoever the head coach is to send out a team in what could be a toxic Stamford Bridge if Gallagher or even James have to be sold to allow Chelsea to keep trading. Oh, so now we're actually entertaining having to sell our Cobham graduates for pure profit. So now it's being acknowledged, right? Welcome on board. This has always been the plan. You best believe if this madness at Chelsea keeps going on into next season, one move by Real Madrid for Reece James. Hello, hola, Reece. Yeah, come to Real. And Reece is like, oh, it's Real Madrid. Lads, sorry, lads, I'm gone. And I wouldn't blame him. I would not blame him. A load of these players, if this continues, are going to want out. You best believe. Some of them, some might actually be happy to see go. But I'm just saying, there's going to be players that are not going to be happy if this continues into next season as well. So what are we going to do? What are we going to do? How are we going to move forward? What needs to change? Well, like I've said, sacking Pochettino and then allowing the same people that have made these mistakes to hire Potter, hire Poch, are going to go out and get another one. I don't trust these guys to run a bath. If I had Paul Winstanley, right, and Lawrence Stewart here, right, and they were running me a bath, I would tell them, stop, thank you, get out, I'll do it myself. Because I don't trust it. But these owners are looking at them to make these footballing decisions and think all is okay. Or we have to entertain this because I'm not in the club and I have to put all options on the table here. Or these two directors, so-called directors, are being told what to do and they're just nodding along and going, yes, boss, yes, boss. Yes, boss, no problem, boss. Yeah, thank you, boss. And they're just the faces in that position to execute what's being told from upstairs. One of the two is happening here. One of the two. Either they don't know how to do their job or they're being told what to do by the higher-ups. One of them. And they're okay with it. One of them. Now, I can't eliminate option number 2 because I honestly believe Pochettino is going along with a lot of things that he's being told and is going, okay, yes, no problem, okay, no, that's fine, okay. We have a yes-man culture at the club now. So what are we going to do? Well, this is the latest. Chelsea are monitoring Brighton manager Roberto De Zerbi for next season. What a surprise. Yeah. I've said this. De Zerbi will be the next guy. Darko come out earlier on and said De Zerbi, Ruben Amorim, and Thomas Frank are the ones being looked at by Chelsea. What a surprise again. If I'm being honest, if I had to pick one between those guys, Ruben Amorim is the one that I can at least maybe entertain, could be half serious. The others, what are we doing? What in the blue hell are we doing? So we're going to trust the same people that have hired these guys before to hire this one? Nah, I'm not doing it. I am not doing it. Pochettino gets sacked, no problem. Winstanley Stewart have to follow him out the door. Simple. They all get into one vehicle and drive off together. Bye. End of story. End of story. But that's not going to happen. So this madness is going to continue. And then we go and do this. And we're going to talk about the identity of the club, right? Well, Chelsea have only gone and done this. Check this out. They haven't got a clue what they're doing. Chelsea have hired Owen Eastwood to lead a project on their history and identity, which will impact the environments at Stamford Bridge and the Cobham Training Centre. I'm tired. I'm tired with this club. I'm actually tired. This guy is a commercial law specialist. Law. But he done performance training, I think he's a performance coach, right? In the sports field, not based on qualification, but just based on experience, right? And he's worked with the England national team. Apologies. The England national team, prior to them getting to the final of the Euros and bottling it, worked with the Team Europe Ryder Cup team, where the only other option to not win that competition is to win it because you're either going to beat the US or you're not. It's one or the two. So he worked with them. He's worked with NATO and I think a few others as well. He has this concept based on the Manoi culture, if I'm not mistaken, called Waka Papa. Is it Waka Papa? I think it's Waka Papa. But it's an old, ancient mindset principle in the Manoi culture, more like the oceanic side. We're talking like Samoan and all that. He's from New Zealand, so you get the connection. I'm paraphrasing here as well because I'm not too familiar with that culture. But he has this principle that he likes to based on Waka Papa, where it's trying to get you to connect with all that is around you, all nature that is with you, because we are all one, basically. And it's a way to try and develop a mentality of as long as you are one and together with everything, and you're at peace with that, you can overcome, and you can, which I understand on a mentality standpoint, there are things I agree with, 100%. But what in the blue hell are we doing? What are we doing here? What have we turned into a psychological institution here or something? What's going on? Listen, Chelsea a football club, end of story, yeah, a football club. The mentality and the identity and the principles at the club stems from the ownership. Comes down to the director. The director brings it down to the manager. The manager brings his philosophy that matches that identity of the club and brings that down to the players that reflect that on the pitch. That is how it works at a football club. I don't need to outsource that and get some New Zealand guy to come in and tell me about some culture, right, with all due respect, but some mentality to do with a culture where I'm trying to figure out what the identity of the club is. We brought in a mentality monster last season, you remember? How did that go? Yeah, bloody well, innit? He left, we didn't even know. And now we're doing the same thing again. This is incredible. This is incredible. It just goes to show, these guys running this football club, I'm going to put the entire consortium on notice here. All of you, you have no idea what you're doing. It's as simple as that. You have no idea what you are doing. None. The answer and the solution is simple. Instead of getting a mentality coach, right, or some performance coach that's going to tell them quotes and inspirational things from the Manoi culture, all due respect to that, that's not going to solve the issues at Chelsea Football Club. We all know that. What's going to solve the issues at Chelsea Football Club? Get rid of these directors, get rid of Pochettino. Part 1 is done. Part 2, get one top world-class director, sporting director, figure out with him who to appoint, let him decide who's world-class enough to come, and then bring an elite manager into the club and let those two work together on the footballing side. And you guys can literally sit back and do nothing except watch them work. That's it. That's your solution. Why don't we do that? It's staring us in the face. We're not going to do that. Because it's not about the identity or the culture or the fit or how the club, the roots of the club. It's got nothing to do with that. If these guys were genuinely bothered about the identity and the roots and the culture of the club, they wouldn't have gutted every single person from players to groundsmen when they first walked through the doors. They wouldn't have done that. If they were bothered about the identity, they wouldn't have gutted everyone out. Catering staff got chopped. Everyone got chopped. They would decide to keep songs like Park Life playing before the games because that's part of the culture. Fans go to the bridge and know that's part of the culture. That's part of the match day experience. Yeah, you take that out. And you only leave Liquidator in because you know you have to. If not, there will be a backlash. But if you are bothered about the identity or the culture, there are just things that you just wouldn't touch. They're not bothered about that. So I'm not going to buy it. I don't believe it. I don't buy it. But the solution to this problem that Chelsea are facing as a club is staring us in the face, and they're not going to do it because they just want to keep working with a bunch of yes men that are just going to execute and do what they're told, and that's it. End of story. Meanwhile, top clubs are doing this. Real Madrid and Alphonso Davies have reached a verbal agreement for the Bayern Munich left-back to join in 2024 or 2025. There we are. Good luck to Alphonso Davies at Real Madrid. Respect. I'll see all of you tomorrow. Let me know your thoughts down below. Much appreciated. And, tomorrow's the preview for Chelsea versus Leeds. Oh, there's going to be things said in that one as well. Make sure you're here. Because, Like I said, they're no Middlesbrough. This one's going to be a surprise, I think, for a lot of people. So make sure you're here for that. I'll see you then. Thank you all so much. Do not forget, hit the subscribe button if you haven't done so already. Hit the notification bell to be notified once I've uploaded. Smash the like button if you've enjoyed this. Don't forget to check out the socials in the description, including the Younes Talks Football TikTok, where there are short form clips on there, including the watch-along highlights, which I don't even want to direct you guys to, but it's done well with the Liverpool lot. They're clearly happy to see it. But anyway, make sure you check the links in the description. I'll see all of you tomorrow in a bit, people. Have a good one. Take care and peace.